Welcome to another episode of Let's Make Waves podcast. This is the first episode of 2026. This is a platform for entrepreneurs and thought leaders who want to build a personal brand that actually drives business results. If we haven't met before, I'm your host, Rana Al-Basri Mawad, and I'm a communication strategist with more than 20 years experience helping business leaders build trust that actually drives growth into their business and their career. I want to start 2026 talking about personal brand. And I know this is a priority topic for so many of you, and rightfully so. Building a personal brand, building your reputation needs to optimize trust for it to grow and therefore impact your business. Because you see, trust is what drives people to take action. And it starts with small steps. It starts with your audience maybe consuming your material, following your journey, following your advice, testing a gift that you have shared, checking out your products, your services, reading reviews. And in every single step, in every single layer, it's a level of trust that is getting stacked one on top of each other into your favor. So, in this episode, I want to talk to you about building a personal brand, building a reputation that positively impacts your business, and how will you be able to optimize trust to your favor. Let me start with a mindset shift. I want you to start by putting aside anything that you've heard about building a personal brand, especially when it comes to social media. So I'm not saying forget about it, just let's put it on the side. I want you to see a new perspective. I want you to think about your own behavior when it comes to deciding to buy something. Okay? When it comes to you deciding to work with someone or to buy a particular product from someone. So let's start with that journey. In particular, think about your experience and what influences you. What really influences your decision when you want to trust someone enough to pay them for their services or for their products, especially if it's high ticket, especially if it's a pricey one? So, if you think about that deeply from your perspective, sometimes you are in a position where you are aware of an issue that you have. You're aware of a certain struggle or a problem that you have. So, let's give you an example. Let's say that you know for a fact that your website is not the greatest and that it really requires an overhaul. It's not the way that it should be. So there are times where you are aware of the problem. You're aware of a challenge that you are facing. And there are other times that you might not really be aware of an issue, or at least you are not considering, or you never thought of something being an issue in the first place. So, to use that as an example, you might think your website is really good. At least it's good enough, it does the job. And then you watch something on social media, it could be an article that you read, and then you become aware of a problem. So, these are the two different ways that the journey kind of starts, either by you being aware of a problem or you're not aware and then somebody kind of points it out for you. As a result, you might decide to take a look closer at the problem. You start by consuming different material by different experts on this topic. What happens next is that you start consuming more from the people that you kind of gravitate towards their material because you feel that they have in-depth knowledge about this topic. Other steps start to take place. You start consuming and being interested about their material because of different things, because they have a contrarian take on the matter, because of their in-depth detailed knowledge that the way they share it. It could be because of their style, their knowledge, their language, trigger words that they use, the examples that they use. It could be because of their specialization in your industry. Then comes the next step and another layer of this trust factor. When they share tips, you try them, it works. They kind of give you certain examples of someone that was in a similar situation like you, and they've helped them out by fixing certain things, and it has done the transformation that was promised to them. They share case studies, they share amazing reviews, amazing testimonials from their client. And this might push you to another level. They've earned bits and pieces of trust, and it will push you to investigate more. One layer of trust on top of the other. So you see where this is going. So far, I haven't mentioned follower count, not because it's not important, but it's because the follower count is perfect for the initial visibility. When you first get introduced to these people, you might see, oh, okay, so they're getting followed by a lot of people. They must know something. But it's not the factor of the decision that you make when you're buying from them, especially when it's high ticket. So many other factors that I've kind of given you an example on in this journey play a role in your journey as a customer yourself, in your experience when deciding to buy something from an expert. For this kind of layering to happen, for your reputation or your personal brand to have those type of value and equity in the minds and in the hearts of the people that you deem are your audience, we have to start with five very important elements that you need to accumulate and you need to stack to create that kind of effect. The first layer starts with you. And because social media is a very critical tool that we all use for visibility and for our personal brand, let's focus on that. So, a lot of you might have a preconceived notion of how you should appear online on social media. There are certain type of content or specific types of styles. While all of this is important, what really, really matters is the value of your content. Is it authentic to you? Does it translate your values properly? Were you able to articulate your message in such a way that it hits the right spots for your audience? Are you able to sustain the cadence very specific to your circumstances and to your responsibilities? Were you were you able to share your perspective, your point of view, your contrarian thinking? Did you give the right type of value where you were able through that to showcase your expertise and your experience? These are the questions that will help you properly assess how is your online presence. Because if you watch your videos or you read your written material and you are able to get the outcome that is intended from that content, then this is the level of content that gets the engagement that you are looking for, that gets the conversion that you are looking for. Because if you don't find your own material interesting, why are you expecting strangers, someone else coming on the platform to engage with you or to take on your offer to download a certain freebie? This this type of detail is called alignment. And that's where the alignment starts with you. It's an alignment between who you really are in person and online, of course, and that there is a consistency in that presence and in that experience. It is an alignment where people start to trust you. When there is alignment in you being able to articulate your message, people can sense it immediately, even if they can't articulate why or how. Because what happens is that you're not performing, you're not code switching dramatically depending on the platform that you are basically translating everything that you are known for expertise wise, and your voice and your values and your perspective, they are all consistent. And your content, the content that you will be putting out, will look, feel, and will engage consistently, because on a tactical level, that kind of clarity is very attractive, and it That kind of clarity is what builds following. The second is who is really in the spotlight. This is where a lot of online gurus miss to mention. Who are you really spotlighting on your social media? Is the spotlight mainly on you, or is the spotlight on what is relevant for your audience? And this is really important. And this is where a lot of people go wrong, because when you hear certain tips like relevance and relatability and all of that, it has to be done. These are good tips, but it has to be done, or it has to be executed in the content from the perspective of your audience, because relevance isn't about you, it's about your audience. So ask yourself, am I sharing this valuable content just so I can be seen as an expert? Or am I sharing this because I know this particular valuable content is relevant to what my audience needs at this moment? Is my material, is my content a flex? Or is my material or my content something that can make a difference to a current pain point or current desire for my audience? Because here's the thing, when you put the spotlight on your audience in your content and it scores, it drags you into the spotlight as well. Your expertise will shine, your reputation will grow when you consistently provide value that matters to your specific audience, not content for content's sake, but content with actual insights, solutions, perspective that genuinely help your people move forward, which means relevant and relatable content can only happen when you have a deep understanding of your audience's challenges, goals, and context. So ask yourself, is your content solving a problem that your audience actually has? Or are you creating content based on what you want to talk about? Because those are two different things. Third is to keep your eye on the context. That's because context matters. And that's because context matters in everything, even in your social media presence. This is because context is a trust signal. Culture nuances, market specifics, industry norms, technology intelligence, human and life dynamics. These are all different types of contexts. Now, some contexts are important for your audience and some contexts aren't. And your in depth knowledge of your audience will help you know what context types are to them. But when you're able to translate that kind of understanding and your knowledge based on the context in your content, in your social media content, those are the moments that so many entrepreneurs experience as a viral moment. Now, although virality is not the goal here, but it could be an indication that not only were you able to tick a box on authenticity, on relevance, on relatability, on knowledge, but also you have an understanding, contextual understanding of the position that your audience are currently in, and you give them the right value contextually in your content. And this is why I say there's so many things out there that is a one size, it's a cookie cutter. The one size fit all approach fails almost all the time, because copying someone else's personal brand strategy doesn't work, because your context is different from theirs. And understanding context is what allows you to adapt your approach without losing your authenticity. You're not changing who you are. What you're doing is that you're being strategic about how you communicate your value through your content in a way that resonates with your specific audience in their specific context. So, if you are a service provider and you are specialized in, to give the example again, in building websites, and you work specifically with small business owners in a certain industry, in a very specific industry, you will be able to know on a contextual level not only their technical challenges on their website and how should their websites look like and what kind of features it should have that is relevant for their industry, but you will also be able to put in your certain contextual issues that they might face, because you are aware of what these small business owners in this particular industry face in terms of challenges, in terms of issues, and of budgets, in terms of market dynamics. That will make you more relatable, more relevant, more attractive in your content, because you will be speaking in the language of the people that you're trying to talk to. It is really, really crucial, and it will do wonders in your personal brand and your online presence. The fourth is strategy, and strategy matters. Having experience, having expertise is very, very important, because it means that you have real depth in your domain, in your line of work. It means that your depth, it doesn't come out of copying something from Google, but it comes out of your familiarity with the topic. You are able to go broad, but you are also able to go deep into the topic of your expertise. And this is really important, because this is where strategy becomes a tool that will propel your personal brand and your social media presence. You know really well that sporadic action on social media doesn't build trust, and it doesn't build the right type of following. And that's because systems help you in executing your work in a consistent fashion, in alignment with your goals as a business owner. So, knowledge with strategy, combining these two, becomes a really powerful tool. And it is a priority in building a personal brand that is reflective in your social media presence, where it will impact your business bottom line. So, here's the thing: we are now living in a world where everybody can create content. Having substance really differentiates you. Having consistency is what's going to make you visible. The both of them together is what builds trust. This is how you optimize another layer of trust, because it builds trust because people can sense depth, and they can see commitment through consistency. They can tell the difference between someone who is regurgitating info that is Googled or using AI, and between someone who actually understands their field of expertise. You are able to get closer to your goals because there is a strategy designed to reach those goals. And it becomes really important on social media when you have that goals with the strategy, because that means you are becoming intentional and consistent in hammering that message, having more visibility, and being intentional in your content. That kind of consistency will help you in your engagement, where then you will have a kind of a pathway to gauge interaction, interest, connection. It will give you those signals that you can monitor very regularly, so that you can know what is working and what is not. And consistency with a very solid strategy gives you that. And finally, number five is word of mouth. Because how do you know if someone has a really strong reputation or a reputable business and an entrepreneur with a strong personal brand? You can know that in different ways. You can know it when other people recommend them. You can know when they have a great list of testimonials and reviews on their products and services. You know through them being featured, podcasts, articles, interviews, and all that kind of publicity. when you can also know when the type of partnerships that they do and the type of collaborations that they do with other reputable people or experts in the industry. So all of that is called third party validation, and third party validation is a great way to demonstrate impact, because you're not just talking about yourself and about your work and about all the impact that you're able to do. Someone else is doing that, someone else is doing the talking, and what others say about you carries significantly more. So, social proof and the right kind of partnerships and the right type of publicity is what creates the right word of mouth that fortifies this trust factor. It's a really good element to stack. It's another layer to stack in the trust stacking experience that you are having with your audience. This is about spotlighting your work, your track record, your outcome, your results through the lens of someone else, or by collaborating also with someone else. Some people would say, well, that's really easy because a lot of people use PR agencies that can get you that kind of media coverage. And that's true. Yes, you can use PR agency to do that. But I would argue that reputable media coverage is not paid media placement. It is really, really difficult to get really good media coverage without paying for it. So when you get it, that's a huge plus. And if you are the receiver of that end, where you are reading about an expert that you're interested in, I really hope that you are making sure of the difference, that the media coverage that they are sharing with you is something that they have earned and not paid for. So, publicity, and also another thing, publicity alone is not enough. Testimonials alone are not enough, but it's like the stacking of all of the things that create that kind of word of mouth. So, we're talking about testimonials, reviews, ratings, good publicity, great partnerships, all of that together will earn you the word of mouth that your personal brand and your business reputation deserves. So on your social media, sharing all of that is what will make your personal brand undeniable, and then it can do the heavy lifting of impacting the bottom line of your business. So think of it this way: when others are talking about the value that you provide, when they are sharing the results that they got from working with you, or from the products that you offer, when they start recommending you without being asked, that's powerful. That's word of mouth, and that is also what builds trust. So here are my final thoughts. All these elements work together. It's really important that you know that. So, having that mindset shift, knowing exactly how to utilize the substance that you have, your expertise, your experiences, knowing your audience really well, having the right content, all of that, all of these elements work together to build a strong personal brand and a strong social media presence, because together they have impact. And these are elements that make your content strategy for social media really rich, with material, with stories, case studies, concepts, ideas, opinions, and point of views, results, all of that. It makes your content strategy really rich. And what's really powerful about all of those elements is that they will help you better understand how to tackle the big beast of social media, not by copying the right or random advice, but by truly building an online presence that serves your goals and serves your plans. And your goals and your plans will directly impact your business, because these elements help you build a personal brand that is leveraging trust. Your audience will talk, they will connect with you. Trust opens doors that impacts you and impacts your business, and it impacts your presence within your market or the industry that you're in. Your personal brand is your reputation. Reputations are always built on trust because trust is what drives growth. So, if you're interested to put everything that we've talked about today, everything in this episode, if you're interested to put this pen to paper and to start working on it and having it as a resolution for 2026, I can help. These tips that I shared with you today is based on my tried and tested framework, which is called the trust method. And this is a framework that is grounded in building the foundation of trust that grows and compounds, not just tactics. I made it super easy for you to build a personal brand because I also have worksheets that go with the trust method, and it will help you to check where are you right now, what is your status when it comes to your personal brand, when it comes to understanding and identifying what you're missing at the moment, and also to know what are the next steps and what you need to build. So you can have a very clear plan of how you're going to build your personal brand in 2026. So if you want, you can download the worksheets today. The link will be shared in the show notes. We've come to the end of this week's episode, and I really wish you a great 2026. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss future episodes. Until next time, keep building trust, keep making waves. Bye for now.